You see, I had quite an amazing experience one Saturday morning while I was washing up some dishes. I had a voice, quite definitely a voice out of this world, say to me, "Prepare yourself, you are to become the voice of Interplanetary Parliament." Soon after this, I had a physical visitation from a member of the cosmic hierarchy, if you like, who gave me certain instructions. I obeyed these instructions to the letter, and later on I found I could contact intelligences from other planets.
This visitation that you described, what happened?
Well, it was quite physical. I was sat in a room and a man walked through a locked door across the carpet on the floor, and he was quite physical. When he crossed the boards, they creaked, and he sat down opposite to me and began to talk to me.
I see. He had a body and a face just like anybody else.
He was as physical as you are now.
Where did he in fact come from?
He is a man who is living in northern India at the moment, but he came from another planet. I believe it was Venus.
Now, when he came into your room through the locked door with this ordinary physical body, did he resemble any other human inhabitant of this planet, or?
Yes, he would have been taken for an Indian, I think.
I see. And this was the body which he has when he's on Venus as well?
No, this was a special body he used when he was on this Earth.
What happens to it when he's not here?
I think he is capable of breaking up the atomic structure and cellular structure and reforming another body when he goes back to Venus again.
Now, he gave you some instructions which you followed. Could you describe them?
I'm sorry I couldn't.
I see. But as a result of those, you became a channel for the transmission of messages from cosmic intelligence.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
You have a title which you've been given in this respect.
Yes, the space people refer to me as Mental Channel Number 1.
And they send their messages directly through you as a rule?
They do, yes. I think I've received more messages from the space people than any other person on Earth at the moment.
Yes. Now, in addition to the messages which you receive in a trance state, do you receive visitors from outer space in person?
I have met people from outer space.
You've met people from Saturn?
I've met people from Saturn, Mars and Venus, yes.
Tell me what someone from Saturn looks like.
Well, the particular person I met was a man. He was average height, dark hair, fairly broadish. He had no pupils to the eyes, very, very large hands, but very, very small feet.
Now, this body that you describe and this person, does he have a physical existence only when he's on Earth, or are the physical existences on Saturn, for example?
No, he lives in a physical body on Saturn, but it's a little bit different than the one I've described to you.
I see. When he's on the Earth, he breathes the air like we do?
Yes, and he eats the same as you do.
And, I mean, could he swim in the sea and things like that?
Yes, except he wouldn't eat meat.
He wouldn't eat meat?
No.
But when he's on Saturn, he has a physical body, not quite the same?
Yes, quite so.
The same thing applies to people from Venus?
To people from Venus and Mars and all the other planets.
Now, when they come to visit you, when they come to visit the Earth, how do they get here?
They come to Earth in the vehicles that we refer to as flying saucers.
You've seen one of these, have you?
Oh, I've seen a couple of hundred, I suppose.
Close up?
Quite close, yes, some of them.
Have you ever travelled in one of these vehicles?
Not in a physical body, but I'd like to point out that my mother has travelled in one of these vehicles in a physical body, and she went along to a meeting that was arranged, and she had to walk through mud in a field, and she got her shoes covered with mud. She walked up some steps and into a flying saucer.
Now, when the messages come to you as in your capacity that you've described as mental channel number 1, you go into trance and the voice speaks through you. Is that right?
Yes, the intelligence speaks through me. In other words, I gain telepathic rapport with the intelligence from another planet, and he conveys his message through me.
Using your vocal cords?
Yes, oh yes.
Could you do that this evening?
I think I could, yes.
Before I ask you to do it, there is one other question which I'd like to ask you, which I hope you will accept as completely sincere, but to be answered with equal sincerity. Many people are clearly going to draw the conclusion that you are sincerely but absolutely deluded in all you say, that this isn't true, that you believe it, and it is a sheer delusion. What is your own answer to that? How do you know that this is not, in fact, a projection of your own imagination?
Because I've met these people. My mother has met physically one of the people who has been speaking through me for a number of years, and he told my mother this fact, that he has been speaking virtually through me.
Now, who is going to speak through you this evening, if you can get in touch?
Intelligence from the planet Venus, who we call Aetherius.
Right. Will you now try to go into a trance for us?
I will try, yes.
Yes. Mr. King has explained to me that, in fact, it may take him 30 seconds, even perhaps as much as a minute, to get into a trance, and during this time he has suggested that we should be entirely silent, and so we will be. We will wait for the voice, if it comes, through Mr. King.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My dear friend.
Your name is?
I am known as Aetherius.
Where do you come from?
The planet Venus.
Where are you speaking from now?
I am sorry, my dear friend, I cannot answer that question for you.
I had wondered simply whether you were in a vehicle of some kind, a spaceship described by Mr. King when he was talking to me, or whether you were in your normal abode. But you can't tell me that?
No.
You do travel, normally, in what Mr. King has described as flying saucers when you move about space, do you?
Yes, that is quite correct. We have indeed been visiting this Earth of yours for some 18 million of your Earth years.
And when you come here, what is your purpose in coming?
At the moment, Earth, as you call it, faces a certain situation. The situation can be described as a rather a dangerous one. You are liable to upset the balance of your Earth through number one, atomic experimentation, and number two, your deviation from the spiritual laws.
And your visits are designed to warn us against this?
Yes.
Can anybody see flying saucers when they arrive?
Oh yes. The vehicles that you call flying saucers are quite physical. If you fired a 16-inch shell at the hull of a flying saucer, it would burst when it came into contact with the force screen or protective barrier around the vessel.
Is there one single message that you would like to give us this evening? I'm afraid it must be brief. You'll understand that.
Yes. I would like to say this. If you are a Christian, then live the laws as laid down by Jesus. If you are a Buddhist, live the laws as laid down by Buddha. If you are a Hindu, then be the best Hindu. This procedure is the one true way for men of earth to save themselves from their lower aspects.
Thank you, Aetherius, very much indeed.
Good night.
Good night. It would be easy, foolish, I think, to deride Mr. King, who, if nothing else, is absolutely sincere. Because what Mr. King is really doing, perhaps through what may well be total delusion, is nevertheless uttering in one way, in a symbolic form, the cry of anxiety that divides our world, that our scientific interest has outrun our wisdom and our humanity in some respects, and we're afraid that it may outrun our existence. We therefore may not agree with what Mr. King claims or says. We may think that he is sincere but deluded. But we shall delude ourselves if we think that there is no significance in these fears and their expression in this form. Good night.